All righty, Wolfpack. We're now going to move to the running back position. My running back sleeper, number one guy that I want to highlight is Dylan Laube, the rookie out of UNH. And I get it. Oh, UNH, this kid's actually going to make a difference. New Hampshire? Come on. What are we talking about? This kid was the FCS leader in all-purpose yards, both 2022 and 2023, regarded as one of the best pass-catching RBs in this class. And I get it. Again, roll your eyes about UNH. But when he faced the top competition they had all season, Central Michigan, he had an absurd 12 catches, 295 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is an NCAA record, not for a running back, just in general for most receiving. Absurd performance there. He also is a Senior Bowl standout. You love it. Then you go to the Raiders, vacated 289 opportunities. That's the 6th most in the league. 63.3% of their touches are up for grabs with Josh Jacobs now departed. It's a pretty barren depth chart besides Zamir White here, and Todd Telesco has a history of identifying these pass-catching backs and picking the right ones. He's got Danny Woodhead on his resume. He's got Austin Eckler on his resume. So why not trust the guy who is now comparing both of those guys to that pick? He said he's got a long way to go to hit those levels, and of course he does, but he said he sees traits of both of them in him. So I love it. I think it is a awesome opportunity here for Dylan Laube for a 6th-round talent. I get it, the draft pedigree, all that, but I think he is in a perfect spot to have a day one impact as a rookie, including in best ball leagues. And we are now on the clock, Mo. We've got Sam Laporta, Pittman, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Devonta Smith, Cooper Kupp as the top available. Any standout?
I wouldn't mind going another either going receiver or grabbing Allen here. That's typically where I'm going. I'm not getting Laporta much.
Okay, so Pittman or Devonta? Pittman?
I'm fine with Pittman. Yeah, let's the target hog.
Let's give it a roll here.
The ceiling's not super high, just because obviously the ceiling's high just given the volume, but I like grabbing Pittman. He's gonna get a ton of targets. But I'll get on to my first running back, rookie Bucky Irving, drafted to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this is a complex argument, but I really think he's got a chance to earn the RB2 role pretty quickly. I mean, it's a bit messy. You got Chase Edmonds there as well as Sean Tucker, but they gave Sean Tucker a run last year, and he didn't really do much. I mean, I think they're about ready to move on. And personally, I'm not entirely sold on Rachaad White. I mean, we saw him produce last year. He was highly productive in fantasy, but he was also given every opportunity imaginable with Dave Canales. And Dave Canales is no longer there, moving on to Carolina, taking over and hopefully giving Jonathan Brooks, a guy that we really like, that Rachaad White role. But he was given every opportunity. 2nd among running backs in touches, trailing only Christian McCaffrey, dominated the receiving work as a running back, and dominated the goal line touches. I mean, he was given it would have been an absolute disappointment if he didn't produce, given the opportunity that he was given. So I don't think he's super talented. I just think he rode a massive workload to fantasy production. So I'm personally not sold on the talent. And Bucky Irving provides a 3-down skill set that I think can get him on the field quickly and get him and allow him to produce when he gets on the field. I mean, he led all of the entire FBS in terms of receptions at Oregon last year. And I don't mind him as a runner, but that pass catching upside is something that you're really looking for in those later rounds. And that is what can lead to really booming fantasy production from a later round guy. So that skill set, I think, can get him on the field early. And this regime has no loyalty to Rachaad White, who I don't know about you, but I've never been the biggest fan of in terms of a talent. Obviously produced last year because of the volume that we talked about, but I think there's a pretty clear path for Bucky Irving to earn the RB2 role and get onto the field this season.
Yeah, 336 touches for Rachaad White. They've already talked about wanting to reduce that role, and they got a perfect guy who they continue to hype up, saying Bucky Irving scores touchdowns and does not go down after contact. I think he's a great call. I love him. Just took him in a dynasty draft. We got Jacobs, Etienne, and Pacheco queued up here at running back, plus Trey McBride. Any leaning for any of these guys?
Easy Trey McBride for me.
All righty, let's do it. It's been a little while since we drafted Trey McBride, so we'll welcome him to the roster. I agree with you, too. Running back values, as we've talked about on the show time and time again, are so plentiful that loading up on that tight end edge, getting 3 receivers early, these are often some of my favorite builds, and I love how we've started out here, Mo. And I like that we're on kind of a timer here with each of our picks in terms of we can only go so long because we have to make our actual fantasy pick here. If you guys are enjoying the conversation and the guys we're giving you, please do consider that thumbs up button. It really does help us get out there and get to more people. Thank you again so much for being here. Please get all your questions on in there. We would be happy to answer them after we wrap up these few talking points. And my running back of choice here is Khalil Herbert for my second favorite late round running back. And this is less about if he's stuck there in Chicago and more so projecting that they've talked about him being available for trade. I don't think it's going to take a lot to move him. And what if he lands up with the Dallas Cowboys? And either way, if he gets moved, you got to imagine the team acquiring him has a role in mind for one of the most efficient backs across the last 3 years. He has been top 15 in Pro Football Focus's grades in 2 of his last 3 seasons. He has consistently been above DeAndre Swift in that metric. In 8 games that he's played 43% of the snaps, he averaged 14 touches and 77.8 total yards. He's got 13 career games with 11 or more carries. He averages 15.5 fantasy points in those games compared to 3.91 fantasy points in games with 11 or fewer carries. So ultimately, he is in a great spot. If he gets moved to the Cowboys, it would be an absolute steal. But even if not, if worst case is he is stuck here and has to be on the Bears, you got a DeAndre Swift in front of him who's missed 3 or more games in all but last year. So I definitely think there's a path to injury upside. I think there's a path to trading, unlocking an even higher ceiling for him. So I think Khalil Herbert, acquiring him now, because I think you're buying him at his floor, which would be staying. But if he does get moved, ultimately, he'd be in a great spot. We got 15 seconds. There's CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Xavier Worthy, Terry McLaurin. I don't mind here.
So let's go scary. Let's go scary Terry.
Scary Terry. So we've got now 4 receivers here, and that does set up a Jaden Daniels stack, which I would totally love. I know this is a bit hectic, everybody watching, and for you too, Bo. Not what we planned. We like to go through our topic and then draft, but we ended up being the last person in just when I was testing it out. So we're going to keep rolling through, and then ultimately we'll be able to settle down and answer all the questions and whatnot. But you now have your running back pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I need to be sold on this one.
I mean, so obviously it's gross, but like at this point in the offseason, why not? I mean, he's literally free, 20th round ADP, not getting even drafted in every draft. I mean, and he's currently set up to be the second running back in this Chiefs offense. I mean, there's obviously a very realistic chance that they sign a veteran pass catcher to come in and play the third down role for the Chiefs, but as of now, he's the RB2. The guy behind him is Deneric Prince. I mean, is anyone really scared of this guy? Because I'm not. I don't really think, even like how much we dislike CEH in terms of like how he failed in terms of his draft capital and the hype that he had in his rookie season. I mean, I'm not scared of him losing touches to Deneric Prince, and he offers massive contingent upside currently as the RB2 in this Chiefs offense. I mean, if Pacheco goes down, we saw him go down for a couple games last year. Pacheco goes down, he offers massive upside in this Chiefs offense. And he was relied on for 2 games last year, and he was semi-productive and efficient in both those games. Week 14, he had 13 touches for 68 total yards. Not exactly what you want to see, but, I mean, for a spot start, running back in a managed league, it's not terrible and not what you really want to be seeing in best ball. But Week 15, he had 17 touches for 101 total yards and a score. That's getting into your best ball lineup, and as a 20th round pick, I mean, why not? And he's showed the ability to earn targets and be involved in the passing game. And like I said, that's what really provides that upside in terms of a late round pick at running back in these drafts. I mean, 4 targets in both games. He had 25-plus yard receptions in 2 straight games last year when he was relied upon. So he's semi-productive, and with a literally free draft price and at the massive contingent value, if Pacheco goes down for more than a couple weeks, I mean, at this moment in time, the depth chart's looking like that he's going to be the one relied upon. But go ahead. We're probably late into our clock here. We'll make this pick.
Kamara or Addison?
I'll leave that one to you.
All right, we need a running back. I like Kamara here. Nobody added there for the guy that finished, as we talked about, running back 3 in fantasy points per game last year, going middle of the round in a nice zone blocking scheme. I think he's a great value indeed. So we needed a running back. I went him. I do like Addison, but we're already kind of stocked at wide receiver. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.